Hey, thank you very much for being with it. Have you ever felt like you need to pause or reset things in your life, your priorities, reset what you need to do, reset a lot of things? But how do you do it? And joining us to tell us about reset is Nick Hall. Reset started with Nick because of conversations that he had with many people who needed to call on Jesus and just ask for a reset. And Nick Hall has traveled as a youth communicator, also the founder of Pulse Ministries, equipping tens of thousands of students around the country and the world, and also reaching over 1 million, impacting them for Christ. He's an emerging national leader in evangelism, and also he's wise enough to have some great staff with him, like Jay and Jeff Anderson, and also like Justin Tennyson, and even his public relations person, Andrea McMaster. And I can say that because my daughter-in-law knows Justin and his wife, and also Andrea. So, hey, Nick, great to have you again.
Hey, Paul, great to be here.
Well, I'm excited about Reset. I went to the website and looked. I went, woo! So tell us about Reset and what brought it about.
Reset really started as an expression, I would say, of many people coming together through many of our events and gatherings, people from all walks of life that really were coming to the same conclusion that we needed a fresh start, that we needed a second chance. Reset really is a prayer that anyone can pray. It's just a simple prayer. It's, Jesus, will you reset my life? And really, a person can fill in the blank. Jesus, will you reset my blank, right? My marriage, my finances, my addiction, whatever it is. Jesus meets us right where we are, and he moves. And so that's really what this is about. And it's been incredible to see how God has been using this in the lives of many, even hundreds of thousands already have prayed this prayer.
Well, Nick, I went on your website, and it's almost 250,000. I was just shocked. I went, wow, this is awesome. And but how do people know they need to reset their lives? I mean, is it just something you know?
I don't meet many people who don't like the idea of a second chance. I think all of us, we long for a new beginning. We long for a do-over. On the golf course, we call it a mulligan. And every, December, we call it our New Year's resolution, when the clock strikes midnight and we get to kind of start over again. I think there's something written on the human heart, actually, that we all just long for this. We long for more. And, people from a faith background, people who have been going to church their whole life, maybe they've made their faith about something that it was really never supposed to be about. Maybe it's marriage, as you said. People looking at Valentine's Day, and it's a time of reflection, I think, for couples and saying, man, in my marriage, are the priorities where they need to be? And so, really all of us, I think, can come to this place where we say, man, I need a second chance. I need a reset. And ultimately, Jesus is the reset. He offers
Amen.
a reset. He offers a second chance.
Well, Nick, my heart's evangelism as yours is, and God has really used you mightily to meet with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of young people and millions of people impacting for Christ. And, when you're meeting people of all ages, but especially the young people you meet with, what are the major areas they want to reset in their lives? What are they seeing as the major issues in their lives that you hear a common theme of?
Yeah, it's interesting because reset is, one of these concepts I think that really does take root in the lives of young people, but also just of all generations, right? When you think of just the term reset, we're all used to hitting a reset button on our phone or on our computer or on the dashboard of our car or on the power outlet, in our bathroom, whatever it is. And, when you think of reset, you think of all these past errors that then when you reset it, it clears the system of past errors, right? And so when a person has a reset and when they're coming to Jesus, ultimately they're coming and they're experiencing God's purpose for their life. And for young people, there's so many different issues. But really, a lot of it is reset my relationships. A lot of it is reset my depression. A lot of young people are struggling with different kinds of, substance abuse and different things of that sort. But it's hard to say one thing particularly because really each person is different. But you certainly see themes as God is moving in people's lives, as people are turning to Jesus for their hope.
Well, I'll tell you, There's so many people that are out there hopeless, and you and I see them every day. I love this reset idea. I'm talking to Nick Hall, evangelist, head of Pulse Ministry. I'll tell you, Nick, and I've got to say this sincerely, I really think you've got good staff, and people like Jay and Jeff Anderson and Justin Tennyson and others. I mean, you just got good people around you. And God has really blessed you starting in North Dakota about a decade, 12, 13 years ago, to what it is today in national ministry. When I went on your website, I saw these concerts across America. Does Pulse host all those concerts?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. I mean, our Pulse ministry, as you said, we're based here in Minneapolis, and really we're privileged to be a part of a number of organizations that have come together under this broader banner of reset. I mean, we really believe that the need in our country today is so much greater than any one group or church or organization or individual can take on, and we really think it's a God-sized need, and so we want to turn to God's answer, and Jesus is the answer. Jesus is
Amen.
the reset. And so, we put on these events, and our organization helps lead a number of them, but there's a number of other groups that come together and put on events and gatherings, and this reset message is going out, and ultimately it's individuals. I mean, it's students, it's parents, it's grandparents, it's people from all walks of life that are just taking this prayer, making it their own, and then sharing it with people in their life that need a reset as well. And so it's become really a powerful movement. It's a domino effect that is spreading.
Well, and I know you have a website for it. I went to look at it, and can you give us that one more time to our listeners?
Yeah, I really encourage people to hop online, resetmovement.com. And when people ask, why should I hop online to this website? And I would just say, man, God is offering a reset. Specifically, if you turn to Jesus, there is a supernatural help and aid for your life, and so people are going on this site and they're posting their prayer. And ultimately, this is your prayer between you and Jesus. You're coming and bringing to him your needs, your weakness, your problem, whatever it is, and you're laying it before the God of the universe. But then ultimately at that point, you're joining with a movement of people from all walks of life that are also turning to Jesus. And what you'll find on the website is that you're not alone, right? So in our issues, in our problems, in our shortcomings, you're not alone. There are people just like you who are going through issues just like the ones that you're dealing with, and they are finding hope in Jesus, and you can find hope in Jesus. And so this invitation is for you. Again, resetmovement.com is the spot. You can pull up on your phone or your computer, and it's been pretty powerful to hear the stories of what's been happening.
Yeah, it was exciting. I went on the webpage and looked. I want to encourage everyone to do that. And I'm talking to Nick Hall, who founded Pulse Evangelistic Ministries, and they are impacting the world for Christ. And right before we separate and go our ways here, I have a question for you, Nick. George Barna's polling shows that a massive falling away is happening with young people, almost 60% when they leave high school. And again, Barna's newest polling says only 9% of all of Americans really only believe in the 6 basic truths of Scripture. 91% don't. So how do we turn this nation around, and do you think it will turn around?
I always have hope, and I think Jesus is the source of that hope, and that's really, the heart behind Reset. As you said, there's a lot of issues we can look to, and I think depending on the person, they're all going to look at different things, and yet I think all of us can agree, man, we need something to change, right? And so rather than go from politician to politician or church to church or religion to religion, it's kind of saying, man, Jesus, we believe that Jesus is the Son of God, that he came to offer us life. And so we want to turn to him and ask that in the very simplest form of starting a change, that we could have a reset that begins with him. And actually, Paul, that's why I want to really encourage people, not only to hop online, resetmovement.com, but also to consider joining us. You see, we're moving people towards some gatherings in Washington, D.C., on the National Mall. Again, because of this urgency that you described, we really believe that there's something about gathering people together in solemn assembly, uniting around not our differences and all the problems, but uniting around our need for Jesus and the hope that he can bring. And so, in the summer of 2016, we're praying for a historic gathering of hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not even millions. I mean, we're dreaming that it would be packed, that this would be ultimately a statement to our nation, but also just a statement before God, to say, Jesus, we want you to heal us. We need a reset. And building up to that, so that's going to be July of 2016, but building up to that, this summer in June, in fact, June 11 to 13, in D.C. again, we're gathering leaders. So if somebody is like, man, I really feel a passion for this, I want to align my group, my church, my family, whatever, my neighborhood, we're inviting people to come and join us. We're going to be strategizing, dreaming, praying, and ultimately saying, okay, we're going to launch this thing, and then we're meeting back here in a year, and we're just going to leave it up to the Lord to see what he wants to do.
Well, Nick, I just want to bless all that you're doing and bless your staff and just encourage everybody to reset. We all need to reset our priorities. We need to reset things in our own lives, whether it's marriage, whether it's personal relationships with somebody else, whatever. And Nick, God richly bless you. Thank you very much for being on the way with me.
Hey, thanks, Paul.
Have a great day. And, hey, when we return, we're going to discuss a little bit more about the need to reset our lives and what you just heard Nick Hall discuss, who's an evangelist heading Pulse Ministries. What are your thoughts? Do you think that most Christians even need to reset their lives? And what about Americans? Do we need to reset our priorities? And so I don't want you to reset the dial, because we're going to be right back and we're going to talk more about this, because I already felt in my heart that even I need to reset priorities in my own life, and I'm going to be doing that. And I think it's really neat that Nick and his ministry and others have really said, let's focus on making sure our focus is Jesus. So stick with us. We'll be right back on The Way with Ridgeway.